John thought Flexitime would give him freedom, but instead he felt trapped in his 9-to-5 routine. He'd clock on at odd hours, clock out whenever he could, and still end up doing overtime just to keep up with the workload. Hello, my name is Arash and you are watching my Business English playlist. On this video, we want to learn to talk about work hours, your 9-to-5 regular and standard work hours. How do you talk about your work hours? Clocking in, clocking out, talking about overtime and flexitime. So buckle up to improve, boost, and advance your business English communications. First, talking about working hours. I'm an office worker in an insurance company. When you say you're an office worker, it means you are working in an office environment, doing office jobs. You're a staff in an office. So you do managerial things, administrative things, or clerical things. You are doing clerical or managerial tasks, like organizing files, like doing paperwork, like scheduling meetings, like answering phone calls, and other things like this. You may also assist your manager or other employees. An office worker may be responsible for managing clients files, or scheduling their meetings. It's a 9-to-5 job with regular working hours. 9-to-5 jobs refer to regular standard job working hours. Most employees start their work from 9 a.m. traditionally until 5 p.m. So this is the standard working hour around the world. It's the standard hours of working. The phrase 9 to 5 is an adjective describing the word job. And here working hours refers to the specific times that an employee works in an organization or a company. Employees are responsible or are expected to complete all their tasks during their working hours. What sort of working hours would you like to have when you start working? For example, I'd like to have a flexible job, so I like to have flexitime. It would be interesting for me to work in different shifts. What about you? I want you to drop your answer in the comment section below and talk about your interests, your favorite working hours. Stay with us until the end. Every moment of this video is a stepping stone toward your English fluency. And hit the subscribe button so that I will send you all positive vibes. I need my swipe card to get into the office. Swipe card is the kind of card that you use to gain access to a building or a restricted area. So when you use your swipe card, you enter an office or a department or a level of building, for example, which is restricted for ordinary people. We have ID card, we have access card, so that ordinary people can't get into the restricted areas of a building or an organization. You swipe your card through the card reader and the door opens for you automatically and you enter the area. The work isn't very interesting and I like to be able to go home at a reasonable time. To go home, so when you swipe card, you enter your workplace, you are clocking in. And when you want to leave work, when you leave your workplace, you clock out. Now, what does it mean to clock in and clock out? The process, the action of recording the time that an employee, a worker, enters their workplace. The moment they record the time their entrance to a building is clocking in. And the moment they leave, the action of recording the time when they leave a building, it is clocking out. When you clock in, you start your work, and when you clock out, you finish your work. All employees must clock in at 9 a.m. The employees who work a full-time job. I talked about full-time jobs and part-time jobs in another video. You can watch that video if you like to learn about job options. So in a full-time, in a 9 to 5 hour job, you need to clock in at 9 a.m. and you clock out at 5 p.m. Now, I'm in computer programming. There's a system of Flexitime in my company, which means we can work when we want with certain limits. This is the meaning of Flexitime, to be able to work when you want, but within certain limits. Flexitime is a system. It's a system that provides flexibility in your workplace, so that you can choose when to start your work and when to finish, of course, within certain limits. It's very good for parents, for example. It provides flexibility for parents so that they can schedule their time because they have less free time and they need to spend time for their children so that they can manage their life. Adjustable work hours help mothers to drop their kids at a school, for example, at 8 or at 9, and then drive to work and make it to work at 10. So it's good for mothers with babies or children, school children, to choose a job with Flexitime. We can start at any time till 11 and finish as early as 3, as long as we do enough hours each month. As long as here is a conditional phrase, and you can learn that by clicking on the link above if you like to learn about conditionals, as long as and so long as. It's ideal for me as I have 2 young children. And pay attention to the spelling. In British, it is spelled like this, and American like this. We have an extra I after X in the British spelling. I work in a car plant. I work in shifts, and I have to clock on and clock off at the beginning and end of every shift. Let's put working in shifts and clocking on and clocking off into practice. When you work in shifts, it means you are not working the regular 9 to 5 hours, the standard hours. You have rotating shifts, so your work hours are not fixed. Nurses work in shifts to cover all hospital care at all time, at all hours. And clock on and clock off are similar to clock in and clock out. So clock on means to register the start of the shift. So employees must clock on at the beginning of their shifts. And clock off is similar to clock out. so employees are supposed to clock off at the end of their shifts. I may be on the day shift 1 week and the night shift the next week. A day shift is a shift of work during morning or afternoon, and a night shift is a shift during night. We also call the night shift graveyard shift, especially if it's midnight, and the third shift also. Consequently, it's difficult changing from one shift to another. So when you have rotating shifts, you are changing from one shift to another. Consequently, is used for reasoning, and you can learn expressions that are used for reasoning by clicking on the link above if you are interested in advancing your grammar. Now, which shift do you think is considered a day shift? 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., 9 a.m. to 5 a.m., 12 p.m. to 8 p.m., and 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. Which one do you think is day shift? The answer is very easy. 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. is day shift. The arrogant manager works the day shift, while his colleague takes the night shift. Do you want to learn to describe your colleague's personality, your manager personality, or your team efficiently and effectively? You can watch this video. I teach you personalities, different types of personalities, and you work a shift, like you work the day shift, you work the third shift, you work the graveyard shift, or you work the night shift. This is the collocation, to work a shift. Or you can also take a shift. You take the night shift. You take the graveyard shift. Example number 2. The factory operates 24 hours a day, so employees work in shifts. When they work in shifts, it means they have rotating shifts. I have a question for you. What does work in shifts mean? To work continuously without a break? To work in rotating blocks of time? To work from home? To work only on weekends? Well, this one is remote work. We talked about it on this video. And to work in rotating blocks of time, that is exactly the definition of working in shifts. And to work continuously without a break. Do you have a term for this? If you have any term, I want you to write that in the comment section below. When I change shifts, I have problems changing to a new routine for sleeping and eating. Listen very carefully. We change shifts, we switch shifts, or we rotate shifts. This is a change in our shift schedules, a change in our working hours. Change shifts, switch shifts, rotate shifts. And yes, it will cause problems, present problems to your working routines. Yeah, we learned to talk about our work routines on this video. When the company is selling lots of cars, they ask us to work overtime. That is negative. More hours than usual for more money. So this is the definition of overtime. To work more hours than usual for more money. Are you ready to work extra hours for additional pay and additional benefits? I do that only if I am in need. I'm a commercial artist in an advertising agency. Unlike most other people in my department who commute to work every day, I work from home and avoid the long journeys that some innocent commuters experience every day. Commute means travel from home to work and then back. So you travel from your home to work and you travel from your work to your home. This means commuting. And the person who do such thing, they are commuters. We say they're innocent because each day they have to travel long journeys to get to work, and they may face traffic, getting stuck during rush hour, and etc. Many people commute to work by train, many others travel to work by bus. Example: reliable employees may need to change shifts, switch shifts if there's a staffing shortage. It means the company is in need of staff. Reliable means trustworthy. I talk about personalities on this video if you want to learn more about personalities. The long commute, journey to work. To work can be exhausting for many employees. A question for you: what is meant by long journeys to or from work? Are they short commutes? Are they travel over a long distance for work? Or taking a break during work hours? Apparently, the answer is option B. And then, that's the benefit of teleworking or telecommuting. Working from home. This is the meaning of teleworking or telecommuting. Working from home and using the computer or phone to communicate with other people. Practice makes your English perfect. Revisit this video, rewatch this video to reinforce what you have learned from this video. So watch the video over and over. One time is not enough. When you work from home using technology, you are telecommunicating, you're teleworking. Or you're working from any location outside your traditional office, you are using technology, you are teleworking or telecommunicating or telecommuting. Teleworking or telecommuting offers more flexibility for many employees. Examples: many employees enjoy teleworking because it allows them to avoid commuting. That means avoid that traffic, the noise on the street, and being delayed by traffic and getting stuck in rush hour. The company introduced teleworking options to help employees during the pandemic. It is referring to the corona pandemic. Many people started working remotely from home or other locations away from their workplace in order to avoid coming down with coronavirus. Now, we have some descriptions. We want to match these descriptions with these 6 options above. Let's start one by one. A designer in a website design company has to be in the office, but can decide when she wants to start and finish work each day. Sounds flexible because they can choose when to start, when to clock on or clock in, and when to clock off or clock out. So it is referring to some flexibility. Yeah. work under a flexible Flexitime system. Work under a Flexitime system. Work under. Do you know the meaning of work under? I talked about prepositions work with work on this video. A manager in a department store in a large city lives in the country. The manager lives in the country and he or she has to travel a long journey to work. So they need to commute. The manager is a commuter. And the correct answer is this option. A construction worker on a building site where work goes on 24 hours a day. Since the work is on and on the 24 hours a day, so construction workers need to take rotating shifts. So they need to work in shifts. 3 moves left. A worker in a chocolate factory in the 3 months before Christmas. Oh, they have to produce more chocolate for Christmas. So they have to work overtime in order to get ready for Christmas. Next, a technical writer for a computer company lives in the country and visits the company offices once a month. You see, the technical writer is away from the company because they live in countryside, and they work away from the company and they visit the company, the office, once a month. So they are telecommuting. They are teleworking, as you see here. And finally, an office worker in a large traditional manufacturing company. They need to clock in. They need to clock in and clock out the same time every day. So maybe they have a full-time job working the standard 9 to 5 hours a day. I want to explore the life of a bank employee. The bank employee says, I have a 9 to 5 job in a bank. I don't have to clock on and clock off. We have a swipe card we use when we enter the building. There is no Flexitime system. We have to be there before the bank opens until after it closes. There are people who do shift work, taking calls from customers in our cell centers. Do you want to impress your boss? Hit the subscribe button and I will teach you how to communicate very fluently, like an English native. Oh, I need to clock out. It's 5 p.m.